Typically when people start in an organisation, it's normally a major achievement if they manage to have a computer and a working phone number within the first week or so. You'd be pretty happy with that, and that's a fairly depressing state of affairs. We weren't that bad all the time, but we weren't as good as we wanted to be. So we set ourselves the challenge of saying, well, how can we make it easier to buy stuff internal than it is external? We want people in the business focused on their tasks, focused on selling, focused on helping customers, focused on marketing, whatever it is they're doing. We don't want them worrying about going to Dick Smith to buy a new piece of equipment. Juice is a system that we built to make our IT asset management much easier. The core capability of Juice is that they can see their equipment online, and then if they have a problem with any item, they can report that's a problem. If they need a new piece of equipment to help them do their job, they can order that piece of equipment through the system as well by browsing a catalogue of what's available. But what we've seen in the time since we launched, in the first quarter we had something in the range of 120 orders. In the next quarter it was in the range of double that, and then it doubled again in the next quarter. Now, thankfully that's not everyone going on a crazy shopping spree, but instead what it recognises is people gradually seeing when they need to fix things and just getting it done and moving on. We went from a place where new starters would, a few months after coming in, state as one of their major frustrations was getting started in the business. That could drive people crazy when they can't get their equipment or they can't get the access they need, etc. Within months of Juice being live, when HR did feedback with people 3 months after they started their job, all independently brought up how smooth that starting process had been. So from a new starter perspective, it made a difference, which sets a new impression on employees. It says we expect you to be productive from the start. But also for managers, it meant they weren't chasing endless loops anymore. Things just happened. So the business cases are tricky, right? If you're going to spend a lot of money, you need a really good business case. If you're not going to spend that much money, you don't need that great a business case, right? Now, Juice, a lot of work went in, but when I say a lot of work, I'm talking about one web developer and I'm talking about one person looking at process and fixing things, and they worked for about 3 months. So from a business case perspective, we could see an area of pain that the business recognised in IT. That was undermining the trust or the reputation of our team to deliver. The business was screaming about the new starter process not being clean enough. We had problems keeping our asset lists up to date and making sure our equipment was working well. That leads to increased cost of help desk tickets, etc. It doesn't take many help desk tickets to actually cost you more money than the equipment in the first place. For us, the case was just very self-evident through that pain, and then now we've addressed it. There is, everyone's just blown away by the results, and it's no longer something that people complain about. It's something they recognise is working fantastic, and that then lets us now move on to harder, more organisationally centric problems that are often pretty similar. So we've refined towards a methodology which we call clarify, simplify, implement. Clarify, everyone knows in IT you do basic requirements gathering. Clarify is not much different. It's really just talking to the person and saying exactly what is it you need, exactly how does that work, how many do you do per year, just really understanding the ins and outs of the process and the way the business actually functions, right? And also understand what people want to do in the future. Simplify is not easy. We all know that simplifying is the hardest thing to do, but this is where internal IT departments actually add their value. This is why they exist, right? To listen to the business about what they need, to understand the way those processes work, clarify it, but then push back. So why do you need 5 steps in that? Why do you have to have all those exceptions to the rule? Okay, I understand that we might be paying for the type of travel that goes on, but can we simplify it down to one payment of this amount, or this? Do we really have to go through 4 personal assistants, etc. to do that? So it's about really engaging with that problem, pushing back on the business and asking them, why does it have to work that way? And just relentlessly refining it down to make it as simple as you possibly can. At the end of the day, what you're doing is you're clarifying what people need, you're pushing back and simplifying it, and then you're implementing. And that then starts to become a really neat loop. because after you've implemented, you know what, it becomes very clear what you might need next. So then you clarify that again and you simplify down again, and you just go around and around this loop. How can I make their day-to-day job easier? If I can do that, they'll want to give me the information because it's in their interest. They'll engage with the system. They won't want to go to Dick Smith because they'd rather just buy it with 2 clicks online. You know, and so suddenly people would engage with you in a way that you didn't even believe was possible. So you keep that focus on them, and then the rest of it will often just melt into place.